What's the most high profile guy that you guys have arrested?
Oh gosh. Well, besides the 15 murders,
Yes.
we arrested one cartel member, and I'm not going to bring up these guys' names, but he was living in a pretty affluent area in the United States near San Diego, California, and the DEA had told us that he had they had heard in a wire that there was a hit on his life, that they were going to kill him. Somebody knew where he was, and they asked us to find him. So we find out where he is, and he's living in Chula Vista. We're like, oh man, we got to find this guy, and we have to find him to warn him that he's going to be murdered, right? That there's somebody trying to kill him. Well, we finally find him. We're tracking him. We put a tracker on his vehicle, and he was here on a visa, on what's called a B1, B2. He'd overstayed his visa. Finally arrest him, and we tell him, hey, this is what's going on. Like, so and so's going to kill you. They found out where you're at. Most people would say, I want to go to work with you. I'll flip. I don't want to go back to Mexico. I want to be killed. And he kind of looked at us like, I know the life I'm into. Like, send me back. I'll be fine. Well, as soon as he goes back to Mexico, a war breaks out. Like, he literally steps foot in Mexico. He's at his cousin's. I think it was his cousin or his brother. They're a close family relative, like a Marisco taco truck. Boom, they come to kill him because he looks just like his cousin. They kill his cousin. Of course, he responds, kills another member of the Sinaloa cartel. This was during about 2008 when the Sinaloa cartel was taking over Tijuana from what was the legacy Arellano Phillies cartel. And for about 6 to 8 weeks, a bloodbath broke out. And this person was living in San Diego on a visa. He'd overstayed it, but he was living legally on a visa until we found him. And he was a real bad guy. He's still out there, still doing his thing, But a literal war broke out where many people were murdered in Tijuana after that. But you got to think about it. If we had left him in play and nobody had looked for him, and this guy now comes to kill him in the United States, now we're putting U.S. citizens, we're putting ourselves in danger in neighborhoods where our friends and families live. And this guy was a real bad guy. He's one of many. I mean, we can go countless stories of.
Do you think he's coming back and forth in the States and back to Mexico?
I don't think so anymore. He wasn't on the radar of anybody at the time, and then we finally got him on the radar. I think he knows he's been targeted.
So the Mexican police didn't arrest him. You didn't hand him to the Mexicans.
No. We turned him over. Yeah, we turned him over. Really? We turned him over. That's a whole other story. Talking about corruption and people paying their way out. He was one of the guys that we turned over. And when we finally reached back out, they're like, well, we didn't have anything on him. We kind of had to let him go. And
he dug himself out somehow. Somehow or other. Snuck out right away.
Long story. But there was another guy living also in San Diego, California, that we ended up arresting. He was a known kidnapper. And when we arrested him, he was found with, I believe it was a 45, and he had 2 tranquilizer guns.
Tranquilizer guns?
Tranquilizer guns. I have the photographs of them. And when we did the research on the tranquilizer guns, we found that the entity that had purchased the other 2 similar tranquilizer guns was the San Diego Zoo.
I was about to say, I'm like, what is he going after? An elephant or a lion?
And they were used for elephants, to tranquilize elephants. And he had purchased them. And our theory, and from other witness accounts and whatnot, was that he was kidnapping individuals, hitting them with a tranquilizer gun, likely ketamine, right? Boom, and then kidnapping them. There was a whole. I didn't work this case, but there was a group. They were called the Palillos. Palillos are little toothpicks. 2003 to 2005. They were a rogue element of the Arellano Phillies cartel, and they had been done dirty by one of the leaders. Palillo, the original Palillo, the toothpick, he was murdered by the cartel. And he knew he was going to be murdered, and he told his brother and he told his crew, if I get called on the carpet by the brothers and they kill me, go to war. While the brothers and his crew fled to the United States illegally, and they went to war. They were kidnapping all the money launderers. They were kidnapping individuals this is the cartel operating on U.S. soil. 6 to 8 people they kidnapped. And it was, trust me, this was not a kidnapping for ransom. This was a kidnapping for murder. And they were turning them into pozole, turning them into piles of goop in the United States. All right. They used a honeypot. They used an attractive female that would lure them back to some of these new homes. They would taser him, and they would do what they needed to do. And I ran something called the Criminal Alien Squad. I ended up taking it over from another group of guys. But that crew, a good friend of mine, he was leading the investigation on some of them, and they arrested 2 of those guys prior to them being known as the Palillos. They were part of a immigration hit they did. So there's a lot of bad. I mean, we could sit here all day and just talk about bad guy after bad guy after bad guy, pedophiles, child molesters, murders, and a lot of these people are on nobody's radar.
Was your life or any of your fellow brothers that work with you, any of them ever threatened throughout the years?
I was told I had a green light by an FBI agent at one point. I was working a female source, and without getting into I don't know how much time we have. This is a long story, but we end up finding out that she sleeps with multiple cartel members on both sides of the fence. Very attractive woman, and she had become a source. And one night I take an agent with me. This is a corruption case, right? I end up taking an agent that was on my team to meet with her because the FBI agent that I co-cased with her wasn't available. And she goes, "Hey, I need to talk to you, Alex, blah, blah, blah." So we show up. She's an attractive woman. And like guys would do, he would comment that she's attractive and we would laugh about it. And we drive back to work and we're professional, right? And the whole time he's like, "Would you think she would date somebody like me?" And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, she's not only a source, she's a woman of ill repute. Like, there's policy violation. No. Just drop this. I kind of chewed him out a little bit. Next day in the office, same exact thing. Now, this agent had other issues that arose with him, right? Where he was finally removed from this unit. Fast forward a couple of months, maybe a month or so, a friend of mine from NCIS calls me and he goes, "Hey, are you friends with so-and-so on Facebook?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not really on social media." So I look him up and his cover photo is him with the source. So of course I need to report it to the office, Inspector General. I got to call it OPR. I end up getting interviewed because he makes counter allegations that I never trained him, that I told him it was okay and things of that nature. So that's kind of how I started getting into that internal affairs side, because I had so many multiple run-ins with individuals that I knew that were involved in corruption, smuggling on the border. Fast forward a few more months. This is the last time I saw this agent. One of the border patrol stations would have this, like a Halloween haunted barn for the local community and agents. And I see him there and he's walking right past me and he doesn't even acknowledge me. When he looks at me, there's a look of shame that I recognize. I didn't realize what it was. He kind of looks at me and I see this look of shame on his face. I'm like, don't even acknowledge him. And within a day or two of that, the agents at the station are calling me. "What happened? Why did they arrest him?" They arrested him on duty. He was smuggling cocaine on duty in full green. And it was a result of, his relationship with this source of information.
Did you enjoy that clip? Click over here to watch the full episode and click over here to subscribe to the WiseNuts podcast YouTube channel.